up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna, and if you are new here, then don't forget to subscribe. Today's video, we are doing another recommendations, like TV recommendations, but today we are tackling Hulu. Hulu has a lot of really good originals and cool originals. Like, I mean, maybe not as good as Netflix. Netflix is like cranking those originals out, but Hulu has definitely had some luck with some of their originals and some that I've really enjoyed. One that I saw recently was Little Fires Everywhere, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I've seen some really cool shows on there. So I figured I would do a Hulu edition of sort of what you should be binging and what you should be watching, or just give you guys some ideas and recommendations of things to watch. This list ranges from all kinds of things, from comedies to thrillers and all that. So if you guys are interested in seeing what I recommend to watch on Hulu, then keep watching. So I have a list here. So the first one we're going to talk about is in fact Little Fires Everywhere. I know I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. This was such a great show. There's a lot to talk about with this show. They address so many different issues. It was based off of a book written by a woman, and I can't remember her name at this current moment, otherwise I would give it to you. Hulu turned it into an original, and I remember when I saw the commercials, I was like, ooh, that looks so good. And I'm pretty sure it came out right at the beginning of quarantine for New York, so I was able to like binge that, and that was fun. They uploaded the first 3 episodes, and then we're uploading episodes week after week for that, so I couldn't binge it all at once, but now you can because it's all available and the show has finished. So I absolutely loved it. There are a lot of things to talk about: power struggles, motherhood, socioeconomic sort of issues, race, probably a little bit of gender kind of issues. There is just a lot to talk about. I found it a really great show. A lot of topics to discuss. You could watch it with a family member and then like discuss after. There is a lot going on, but the most important thing that you guys would probably be interested in is the drama. There is so much drama in this show, and a lot of the episodes could leave you on a cliffhanger, and you would be like, oh my god, I need to know what happens. I need to know what happens next week. Like, I need to know now. And the good thing is, again, you can binge it all now and find out immediately instead of having to wait a week. But the drama was so good. I lived for it, loved it. I loved the characters. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more dramatic, really good show. I absolutely enjoyed it. I hope they don't do a second season because I kind of liked how it left on the last season. Like, I didn't love it, but like it was fine. Like, you know what I mean? It left on a fine note that like you could settle with. So check out Little Fires Everywhere on Hulu. The next one we're going to talk about is Normal People. I kind of just was on social media and I just heard a lot of people talking about this show, Normal People, on Hulu, and I was like, Normal People? Like, is that going to be a show I like? So I was like, let me just give it a shot. I read the description of the show before I started it, and it was kind of just about the love story of these 2 people and, you know, progressing through the years. And I was like, okay, I typically like that kind of stuff. I'll give it a shot. As soon as I started the show, the first thing I noticed was that they had Irish accents, and I was hooked. Like, that was all I needed. I just needed to know. I was like, they have accents? Oh my god, it's not British, it's Irish? And you guys know, like, I studied abroad in Ireland, so it was so cool to watch that show and hear the accents. I love the Irish accent. It's crazy. It can be hard to understand sometimes, but love it. You can definitely turn on the subtitles if you're not sure what they're saying because they speak so fast sometimes. But I loved it, and it's super emotional, super dramatic. Again, a couple of funny moments. Definitely not family friendly. I just love the 2 characters. I love how they go through kind of each year of their life and how their relationship and love is there or not there, and they're on and they're off and all of that, and like, you know, I don't know, I just love it. I love that it kind of tells both sides too. Yeah, and it also deals with a little bit of like mental health and stuff like that. So good. Definitely not overrated. I loved it. I kind of want to watch it a second time just to like see if I like missed anything. I don't know, but I really loved it. Highly recommend. There is 100% something going on with my contact, and I don't know what it is. Somebody help me. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. The next show that I'm going to talk about is High Fidelity. This is starring Zoe Kravitz, again, another Hulu original, and it's so good. It's a comedy drama, I guess. There's definitely a lot of funny moments, and what's cool is that Zoe Kravitz actually breaks the fourth wall, so she talks to the audience throughout the entire show, and I love it. I love shows that can do that. I think it's super fun, but it's just about like real life stuff, you know what I mean? I mean, Normal People was too, and pretty much Little Fires Everywhere was too. It's all about normal people stuff. I like watching shows that are not like super fantasy, that it's just about like regular people, you know? This show was super creative. I feel it's also really heavily based around music. It is a remake. I think there was a movie called High Fidelity, and so they kind of like revamped it and then turned it into a TV show. Really quick watch. I feel like there weren't that many episodes. I can't remember, maybe like 8. And I don't remember the episodes being super long. So it's a really quick watch. I really enjoyed it. So if you really like music and comedy and you like a little bit of drama in there and some love stories and you love Zoe Kravitz, it's a show for you. So, so good. The music in the show was phenomenal. Like, there's so many good songs, different vibes, different genres. I love the characters. Yeah, and I believe they're going to do a second season from what I read, but I could be making that up. I'll have to confirm. I'll let you know. But I'm pretty sure that they're going to do a second season of that. So, again, super easy watch. Cool to just, like, throw on, chill, and watch. And it's not, like, something that you have to, like, super pay attention to, but still really, really good. Okay, now we're going to talk about 2 that were really, really talked about, and I'm sure you guys know about. But the first one is The Handmaid's Tale. This is, I'm sure you've heard so much about it, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But it's definitely not overhyped. It is as good as people say it is. It's super dark, though, so if you're not into stuff that's kind of dark, I probably wouldn't recommend it for you. Definitely not family friendly. There's a lot that goes on. But basically what happens is that this group overthrows the American government. And I don't know if it's the whole United States, but in the Northeast, they've turned it into, oh, what's it called? What's the government called? I don't know. I'll put it here. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But essentially what they're doing is that there is low fertility within that area. So it takes place in Boston, the part that we're actually watching in the show. There's low fertility, so what they do is they take the most fertile women, they kind of like train them, and they become handmaids to the richest families or couples in the town. So all these handmaids are sent to go live with these rich couples, and then they kind of bear children from them, but without giving too much away. That's just like basic synopsis, but it's really much darker than that. There's a lot that goes on. Like I said, I think there's 3 seasons. I believe there's 2 seasons. The 4th season probably should have been out this year, but probably with Corona they decided to shift that, so it seems like 2021, it looks like it's gonna come out. I saw a trailer recently, but it's definitely not overhyped, and the good thing is you have 3 seasons to binge. There's a lot of episodes, so it's definitely a good watch. Again, if you're like at an emotional place, probably not something for you to watch, but it really is just such a good show. It's so full of drama. Honestly, I watch the episodes and I get so mad at the end, but really, really good. I just enjoy it. I love a lot of the characters, but you'll definitely be screaming at your TV every episode. The next one that you've probably heard of is The Act. The Act is based on a true story of Munchausen's by proxy. I think that's what it is. It's a real case that happened. It's not a documentary though, it's just like based off of those true events. But basically what was happening was the mother had Munchausen by proxy and was telling her daughter that she was super ill and she like was not allowed to leave the house, all of that. But what happens with Munchausen by proxy is that when somebody has that, it's a mental illness, but the daughter was never actually sick. The mother was actually making her sick to like keep her close. And that's usually, it's some sort of mental illness. It usually has to do or develops, I think, in childhood and then like becomes to the forefront or comes to the forefront in adulthood, something like that. I don't know. I don't know a ton about it, but really, really good, based on the Gypsy Rose, I think her name is, Gypsy Rose case. So you can go watch that. There are tons of documentaries on it. So maybe if you want to watch a documentary first and then like educate yourself about it and then watch the show, or vice versa, watch the show and then watch a documentary. I don't know. There's a documentary somewhere. I don't know if it's on Hulu, probably is, but I don't know. Really, really good. Super interesting. Like, Munchausen by proxy is such an interesting mental illness, and it's so funny because when I was in college, my friend was telling me about, did you hear this case about this girl and like Munchausen by proxy? And I was like, no. And then the show, The Act, came out. So really good. Her name is in it. What's her name? Joey King. Woo! Joey King, got it. Joey King is in it. She's really, really good in it. And I feel like I always saw her as a child because I saw her in like childhood shows and movies and stuff like that. But I feel like in this show, she really becomes like an adult for me. And it's just one of those like really serious roles. Pretty sure it won Emmys, but so good. Again, if you're in it for the drama based off of true stories, I love cases like, not cold cases, but I love like murder mystery thriller kind of stuff. It's not a murder mystery kind of thing, but you know, you get the point. That kind of vibe, that's my favorite kind of stuff to watch, and the act was so good. But again, a little heavy. The next one is Looking for Alaska. Looking for Alaska is also based off of a book that I actually read. It's by John Green, I believe. It's called Looking for Alaska. And it's kind of about the friendships that go on at this boarding school. The main character, Pudge, is kind of always been an outcast, but he goes to this boarding school, he meets a bunch of friends, and then his friend Alaska goes missing, and it's all about like where she is. And she always was super mysterious and like spoke in like weird poems and lines, and like, I don't know, she was a super mysterious gal. Nobody really knew everything about her life. She wanted to know everything about other people, but she was never the one to like actually open up. And it's all about like his friends and kind of what's going on at the boarding school and how they deal with the disappearance and like trying to figure out what happened to her and all the events that like led up to that. Super good. It's just one of those like teen soap operas, like a kind of Riverdale vibe, but I thought it was better. You know, an Elite vibe, One Tree Hill, those kinds of shows. It's just one of those teen dramas, but I really liked it. I read the book, like I said. I don't remember it differing too much from the book, but I could be wrong because I read the book a really long time ago, and the show I watched like, I believe last fall. So it's been out for a while, but again, you can binge it all right now. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty quick watch. I think there might have been like 10 episodes, but again, like it just goes fast because you're like, I want to know. Super good. The main girl who stars in it, I can't think of what her name is either, but she is also in The Society. So it's really cool to see her in those two roles, and Society is one of my favorite shows on Netflix. Really, really good. Again, it's mostly a drama, but there's definitely a couple little funny parts in there because they're teenagers and, you know, they do dumb stuff. So if you're looking for like a kind of teen drama, a little bit more chill, not as dark as the other things that I've talked about, real good. The next thing I want to talk about is Fire Fraud. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. This was kind of a thing going around on the internet for a while because Netflix was doing their documentary called Fire, and Hulu was coming out with their documentary called Fire Fraud, and they came out like a week apart or something like that. Like, they came out at basically the same time. Fire is about the Fire Festival that happened, or didn't happen, I guess I should say, a couple years ago. Basically, this guy, he was like an up-and-coming guy in the financial world, and then he decided to leave all that and plan this huge party, and he invited all of these socialites and these Instagram influencers and these celebrities, and they were all part of this festival, but they really had no idea what they were taking part in. And the idea is that the festival was so unprepared and was so disheveled, and the guy who put it on disappeared at the last minute, and it was like everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong, and yet people had bought tickets and were going to this festival and they had no idea what they had signed up for. And it's just a complete shit show. It's such a disaster, a train wreck, and that's why it's called Fire Fraud. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't want to spoil what happened, or what happens at the end, basically, but it is a documentary, and super good though. It's just a wild ride, and I love like quick documentaries that are about like stupid stuff like this. Like, it was something so stupid, but also something that like really changed the game for festivals, I feel like. And they call it the greatest party that never happened because it like didn't happen, essentially. So good. So I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. The next one I want to talk about is The Accident. The Accident is a British show, I believe, produced show. I believe it was on BBC and then it was put on Hulu, and they're considering it a Hulu original. Basically about a bunch of these teenagers that go into this, not forbidden, yeah, I guess forbidden. Yeah, I guess there's another word for it, but I can't think what it is right now. But they go into this area, this building that's supposed to be shut down, closed. Nobody's supposed to go there. And a bunch of these high schoolers go in there to have a party, and they get drunk, and they, you know, have this huge party. They're all hanging out, blah, 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 blah. Something happens, and the building actually collapses while they're inside. And it's all about how the parents react, what happens to the kids. It was an accident. It's called The Accident, and how the parents react to it and sort of what steps they take, and really good show. Again, I wouldn't say it's super dark, but it's just one of those like thriller, mystery, kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. You want to see what happens next. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was something different for Hulu, but I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for like kind of that vibe, like I love a good thriller. I think I told you guys this in the Netflix series I did of this Netflix episode I did of this. And I love a good thriller, something that'll keep me on the edge of my seat and kind of keep me guessing and figure out what's gonna happen next. The next show we're gonna talk about is Shrill. Shrill stars, oh, what is her name? See, I'm so weird today. I cannot remember anybody's name today. I'll put her name here. She was on SNL, so you'll definitely recognize her name. She plays this character that is kind of like struggling with like relationships and body image and all of that. And that's pretty much what the show is about, kind of like accepting yourself, body image, body positivity, all of that. And kind of the trials and tribulations that she goes through and dealing with that and relationships and love and friends. I enjoyed the first season. I did watch the second season, but I didn't love it as much as I liked the first season. And maybe I just like need to give it another shot, because sometimes I like do that and I just like don't pay attention and I should be. I really enjoyed the first season, so there are 2 seasons. I don't remember if there's a third. I'd have to check. But I really enjoyed the first season. And if you're looking for something lighthearted, funny, you know, it is a comedy. There's a little bit of drama mixed in, but not too much. So if you're looking for something a little bit more lighthearted, I definitely recommend Shrill. And it is a Hulu original, but I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the first season. I enjoyed the characters. I laughed definitely a bunch of times. So there you go. Looking for something a little bit more light. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is Killing Eve. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. This is another BBC One show that was put on Hulu that I don't know if they're considering it a Hulu original, but it's on there, so you might as well give it a shot. Killing Eve is really good. Again, it's one of those like murder mystery thriller kind of vibes. It's basically about this assassin, and she is like the best at her job, and she kills people without leaving a trace, essentially. She's so good at it. She's the best at her job. And then it's about this detective, I guess she's a detective or cop, who's trying to find her, and she's trying to figure out who she's killed, you know, kind of trying to figure out her methods and where she's gonna go next and all of that. And she's basically following this girl along, and it's basically about that. It's kind of a cat and mouse chase, but it gets really interesting, and then they throw in a couple curveballs that you're like, what? Like, you know, you get so shocked. Honestly, it blows your mind at some point. You're like, did that just happen? Did that just happen? I don't know. Did I just watch that? I'm not sure. But that's how that show kind of like plays it all in. Super good. Again, I love a good thriller. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. This is not one that's like super dark, but super kind of fun to watch. So again, if you're looking for something more fun, but like got a lot of drama, a lot of action in it. This is more action-packed than anything else on this list. Killing Eve, one of the highest rated shows. Definitely not overrated. It is super good. The next one we're going to talk about is Dollface. Dollface is another Hulu original. Again, the main actress, I can't think of what her name is, but you guys definitely know her face. It's about a girl who ends her long-term relationship with her boyfriend, and now she has to kind of go crawling back to her girlfriends. Basically, when she got into this relationship with this guy, she had dumped her girlfriends, and the guy was like the only friend that she had. And then when they broke up, she had no friends, so she had to kind of go crawling back to her girl best friend and figure out like how to immerse herself back into the world of women and of single women and friendships, and, you know, put her relationship aside. It is a little bit weird, I'll be honest. There's a lot of like little weird like animated things that kind of happen, and you're like, that's a little bizarre. But still, I really liked the story. I liked the drama that goes on. It's definitely really funny. It's comedy. Why is it called Dollface? Because the boyfriend that dumps her calls her Dollface right before he dumps her. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It also stars Shay Mitchell and Brenda Song as they're 2 of the friends, and the friends are like out of control. They're so out there and so like extra, but it's really fun to watch. And that this girl like has to go crawling back to her friends, I think is like a comedy in itself. And it's funny because she like doesn't know how to be a friend. She doesn't know how to be like a girlfriend, which is so funny. So I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Again, you're looking for something lighthearted, maybe a little bit weird, but I don't know, definitely worth a shot. I liked the drama, liked the comedy of it. I laughed. I thought it was super interesting, super funny, just something different, you know?
Hi guys, I just wanted to pop in really quick because I realized I totally forgot a Hulu original that I really wanted to talk about. So one of the other recommendations I have is Love, Victor. The show just came out not that long ago. It is a spin-off of Love, Simon the movie, and it's basically about this high school kid who's sort of like coming into his sexuality and like trying to figure out if he's gay or not, and sort of going through high school, you know, relationships, friends, and trying to figure out like how his family would react and all of that kind of stuff. And basically he tells Simon, like he's writing letters to Simon in the show, and he's telling Simon that Simon had it so easy that his friends and his family would be so understanding. But Victor comes from a Spanish family and they seem to be pretty religious, and so he's super nervous about telling them, and he doesn't think that he'll be accepted as much as Simon was. So I really enjoyed the show. It was super cute. I think it's gonna get another season, which was great. I loved it. It was a super quick watch. I think it was like 8 episodes maybe. And I know I went through it in like 2 days. I think it was so fast. I just like breezed through it. But I genuinely really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cute show. There were some funny moments, some like sad moments, some cute moments, and things like that. But I really recommend. Friendly, it was originally supposed to be on Disney Plus, but Disney Plus pulled it and Hulu took it, which was great because we still got to see the show. I really liked the characters. I liked the relationships that Victor had with all of the other characters. So just another recommendation for you. I figured I'd throw it in.
Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about is Pen 15. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. What I like best about it is the title of the show. You can probably assume why. But basically the show is about 2 middle schoolers and just like fighting their way in the world. But the best part about the show, because you're probably like, oh, middle schoolers. The best part about the show is that the middle schoolers are played by 2 grown adults. The 2 grown adults that like came up with the idea for the show. I think they write for the show. They might also like direct a couple episodes. But they came up with the idea with the show, and they actually play their versions of their teenage selves, pre-tween selves, I guess I should say, tween selves, tween is definitely the word. So it's the 2 of them, and they play versions of their tween selves, but everybody around them, all the other kids, are actual middle schoolers. So they're played by actual 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds, but then these 2 girls are played by literally like 30-year-olds, and they dress down, they dress like middle schoolers, they got braces, all of it. It's so funny. The whole concept of the show is so funny to me, and it's super unique, it's super different, honestly. Like, and that's not even like the show itself, it's just like the concept is hysterical. So you know that the show is gonna be funny. When you watch the show, you're like, I feel like sort of uncomfortable watching these adults interact with these teenagers, but it is so funny and so cool, so interesting, and I really enjoyed it. There was 1 season. I believe they were supposed to do a 2nd season. I don't know if they filmed it or not yet, but again, because of the whole corona thing, everything's gonna be pushed back with dates and filming and all that. So I do hope they do a 2nd season, though. The 1st season was good. I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something funny, lighthearted, kind of dumb, kind of stupid, you know, and oh my god, and it honestly, like, it took me back to another place. Like, I'm watching these girls in middle school, and I think it's supposed to be like early 2000s they're in middle school, so like 2000 to 2005 kind of vibe. And the trends, the things that they're wearing, the things that they're like talking about, the AOL, oh my god, it was such a throwback. I loved every part of it. And the thing is, like, I was a middle schooler, what year was it, like 2006, 2007, so it's just in the coming years before that, a couple years before that. And it's just so funny because it really brought me back to a lot of like that throwback stuff, and I'd be like, oh my god, remember when we used to do that? It's just so funny. So if you want a little bit of a time travel, I guess, or a little like nostalgia, definitely Pen 15 if you like grew up in that time. But super funny, great concept, funny show, and very light. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really want to make this a series, so if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment down below, or honestly do both. They're free. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do and hit the notification down below so you can get a notification every time I upload. Again, I want to make this a series, so if you guys have any recommendations for me of things to watch, please do, because it could be featured in the next video. I could even give you a shout out, possibly. So if you have anything fun for me to watch, let me know. I'll be honest, I am the binge queen. So I have seen seen it all. I love it. But I do want to do another Netflix version because I have way more to recommend to you guys. So if you guys want to see that, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. Again, leave a comment down below if there's anything else you want to see. If you want to follow me on all my social media, it is in the description box below. And I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye!